Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Kay Suthar. Hey guys, oh my goodness, I am super excited for this episode. I have an amazing guest for you that we're going to be talking a lot about branding, but in a different perspective. Now, our guest today, he was actually born and raised in Hong Kong. His name is Swire. He immigrated to Los Angeles in 1996. He's a proud Chinese American who speaks Cantonese, Mandarin, and English. He trained as a sound engineer working at a recording studio, well, in fact, many recording studios and the entertainment agencies, before starting his own firm called Helman Production Inc. in 2003 in Los Angeles. Swire and his team successfully produced attractive personalized DVD and CD cases and custom merchandise like t-shirts, earning a SCORE award in 2009 for small business success. His business eventually grew so popular, he decided to sell Helman Production in 2013 to focus exclusively on promotional product industry. Please welcome to the stage, Swire. Oh my goodness, Swire, I'm so excited for you to be here today.
Thank you so much for having me on, Kate.
You know what? We've had a couple of conversations prior, and I just found out more and more about you. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to have you on this podcast, right? Because the things that you've gone through, things that you do right now, business owners, entrepreneurs need to know about it and how to do it successfully. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of what you actually do and how you help and serve the world, I would love for you to tell our audience today a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today. Because some people out there, I guess, feel like people just click the fingers and one day wake up and the business is formed. And we all know it doesn't work that way. So please tell us a little bit about your journey.
Thank you. I think I started the journey as an entrepreneur in the most unusual path. A lot of people go to school, they want to start a business, and then they build it, and then they get successful. This is the 20th year that I'm in business. It started in 2003, like you mentioned in the bio. So I actually got married in 2003. And on the day of our honeymoon, I found out that the business that I worked for at the time went out of business. So now I'm married, I have no job. So I still have fun though at the honeymoon. I decided to start Helman Production, which with my background in recording engineer, it was the thing to be in LA to do CD and DVDs. So if you're a younger listener listening, you probably don't know what CDs and DVDs are. But in 2003, that's what people buy. And musicians, film company, they come to us to do their albums, to do their DVDs, movies. Along the way, they ask, we're going on tour. Do you actually do the t-shirts, the hats that we could sell at the concerts? That's how I stumbled into the promotional product market. Hindsight is 2020, and I'm glad that we sold the business in 2013. That's when our internet getting faster. Netflix is starting to get better, right? Quality than the DVDs. So now we're focusing exclusively in promotional product.
Okay. So I guess you've learned what works, what doesn't work, and also learned that you got to move with the times. Like things are changing so drastically, especially in the last 3 years, right? During the pandemic, the internet side of things, the world, it's completely changed. There's more people that know about Zoom than any other time before, right? So I love that about that. And so tell us a little bit more about when you say, helping people with promotional products. Why is that even important?
Thank you. Usually when people think about promotional product, depending on where you are, some people call it swag, some people call it tchotchke, something that you just throw away, right? We could already think of, you go to a meeting, some guys have a bunch of pen, they just throw it on the table. Hey, use it that's my name on it. That's not how I envision promotional product to be. there are
Mhm.
different senses, different touch point. And, we learn in marketing too, you have to see, visit a website, you might be see a Google ad, maybe you see a billboard. I would say promotional product is one of those touch points that, kind of remind your prospect or your customer that you exist. What if you give your current client or prospect something that they will see every day on the desktop? So when the time it comes to make a decision to your product and services, who do you think will remind them will stay top of mind first? And that's how you create a good promotional product program, by getting in front of your potential client every single day.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so the idea behind it isn't just to give people, these free gifts, right? Because what I find is that you give people like, I don't know, a keyring or a pen or whatever it may be, and they'll use it for a little while and then chuck it away. So you want to give people promotional product that they're going to want to keep on their desk or wherever it is to make sure that they remember you constantly. Is that right?
Yeah, even go beyond that. If you are smart and if you already build your brand reputation, like going back to musicians, for example, we all have go to concerts. We love the band, we love the artist, right? So when we see the t-shirt for sale for $50, I don't care it's euro, I don't care it's US dollar, that's a lot of money,
Yeah.
$50, but we will buy it, right? We will buy it. And
Right.
what we would do the next day when we go to work, if they allow us to wear a t-shirt, we wear the t-shirt. And what will we do to tell our friends, I went to this concert, it's so great, you should go check it out, you should download the album. So what you're actually doing for your brand is you have people actually purchase the item from you, and then they will use your item and actually became your no pay ambassador for your brand. So if you not this not only work for musicians, but if you think of it and create a right item for your client, they'll actually do it for you, and you don't have to pay money for it.
Right. So what you're saying is create some sort of a merchandise where people completely love your brand. They're going to be like a walking, talking billboard for you, right? If they're wearing a t-shirt, for example. And so they're going to be doing part of the marketing for you and bringing people your way, right? It's going to get people talking. And that's what we want. And so most of my audience listeners are business owners and entrepreneurs. What would be a great product idea for these business owners to give away, right, to their clients or to the raving fans? What's the ideal product? Because there's so many out there.
I love that question. And, this is the most frequently asked question
I
for me daily. And I'm sure that if people are listening to your podcast, they want to learn and they wanted to find information to grow their business, right? That's, the whole purpose of, us really talking here. And you have to find out first, who are your ideal client? Before that, I wouldn't say you should never start a marketing campaign or do anything or buy any promotional product without knowing who your ideal clients are. Especially if we are talking about smaller business entrepreneur, we have limited budget. And you can, a lot of time people say, I want my product to target and cater to everyone. Unfortunately, there's no such thing as that. Because in marketing, if you're targeting everyone, you're targeting nobody.
That's right.
So by answering who your ideal clients are, then you set up the stage for us to go more deep into finding out. Then my follow-up question will be, please tell me more about your ideal client. Is it gender specific? Is it age specifics? Or do they hang out at a certain location? So if you're able to tell me more of those information, maybe your ideal clients, they only golf and you only see them on the golf course, then you could probably answer your question. Your item should relate to golf. Or my clients they're very hip and they like to hang out at coffee shop. Then you basically, I'm guiding them to answering their own question. It's kind of asking a series of good questions to uncover the answer. Because if you come to me and you want to buy pen, obviously I'm going to sell it to you. But without asking and then uncovering that question, is it really working for you? That will be the final question that one should find out before ordering anything.
Okay, now I want to do something different with you, Swire, right? If you're up for it. And
Sure,
so I
I'll
guess
try.
I guess the audience will be thinking, what kind of questions should I be asking myself to figure this out, right? And so I guess this is going to help me to find out what my what the perfect gift would be for my audience, but it will
Oh, I
also
like that.
right, but it also give the kind of questions and the answers that our listeners are going to be looking for on this episode. So, using me as an example, right? Go ahead, ask me these questions. I'll answer them and see if we can come up with an ideal product for my audience.
That's great. I love this case study.
Yeah.
So, Kate, tell me a little bit more about your ideal client.
My ideal clients are business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, people that want to make a difference in the world, have high ticket programs, and want to gain visibility on a global scale.
Okay, where do you usually find them or able to connect with them?
Where do I find them? I find them all online.
Hmm. And where do you see, a good connection with them? Is it online? Is it in person? Or it depends?
Do you know what? So I guess because of the way the world has been going on and where everything's gone online, I meet a lot of people on digital events, online events, whether it be, a webinar or a 3-day event. And I'm finding a lot of people at these events, especially the ones that I'm speaking on.
Do you feel like referral is important to you and your business?
Most definitely, and it should be important to every single person's business.
Do you think you're getting enough referrals from your current clients?
So I believe that I am. However, I know that it can be better,
Hmm.
right? Because eventually referrals kind of die away. We all know that, right? You can't
Hmm.
just rely on referrals. At the moment, it's going great, but I know I need to do something more.
Let's assume that a business professional works with you and then they're really happy with your service. Do you have a process to coach them and help them to tell everyone about you?
Yes, I do, right? So the number one thing that I do is provide a great service, right? So I've got a podcasting agency, as you know, Swire, where we help people launch their podcast, get booked on podcasts, even repurpose the guesting episodes. We help people with because our main goal is to help people gain more visibility global, and we try and kind of do different aspects of that using podcasting, using social media, right? And help them build their profile online.
Well, what I'm saying is, for example, using the musician t-shirts again, what if you have a client that are really happy, with the work that you have done for them? If you could present them a gift item, would it help you if they actually take the picture or the gift box that you send them and post it on the social media? Plus, with the wording that you present them, if you really like a service, this is a small paragraph that you could put it into your post. Do you think that will help you in your digital marketing?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
So I think that's the kind of question that I'm leading you to,
Ah,
listening to you. So I think, obviously there's a cost for whatever item that you might choose, but if that item prompt that client to take a picture and then send it out as a post to their followers with your paragraph that you send them. So that will probably help you growing in an organic way because, I know you're smart, you could do a lot of digital ads, you can connect with people, but I think referral and word of mouth marketing is still one of the best because maybe that entrepreneur knows 5 or 10 other entrepreneur, and maybe they're all on LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn they have maybe 2,000 or 500 contacts. So you actually using that item, whatever that cost might be, to tap into the network, so to speak. So
I
if you
love
think
that.
that there's value into that, that's how you can also do backwards too. And how much should I spend? What I should buy? And then you could, do that based on really the back profile of the current clients.
I absolutely love that. Okay, so whatever the item is, they're gonna love it so much that they're gonna want to take a picture of it and post it on social media. Again, it's gonna gain so much more visibility, right?
For
Now,
you, yeah.
Definitely. And also, the people that I guess are launching their podcast and getting to, find out more about what they're doing, what kind of podcast it is. So it helps. It's a win-win situation. right? It
Yeah.
gets people, their audience, so we'll get my clients' audience on the edge of the seat to find out what kind of podcast they're going to be producing, right? What kind of content they're going to have, and keeping them on the edge of the seat. So that's fantastic. And so, are you saying it could be any product then? It could be a t-shirt, a mug, anything.
It will be the product that works for you, because it sounded like I'm bashing pants, but no, I'm not. Like, for example, if you are a book signing, right? If you are the sponsor for that event, if I put a bunch of pen with your logo and then have the author sign it, and then you visit it and the book author sign on it, you definitely going to keep that pen, right? So you're going to frame it too. So it's just how you create that experience, and the item is things that goes along with that for the experience. So maybe the same pen won't work if you do things at a sports stadium, but it definitely works at a book signing. So it really depends. It could, like you said, it could be variety of item that works within the experience.
Okay, all right. See, I always like the idea of a mug. People don't tend to chuck mugs away. They keep it on the desk, and they'll either use it to, drink a cup of coffee or tea, or they turn it into a pen pot, right? But they tend to keep a mug for sure. All right, awesome, awesome. Now, tell us a little bit more about why this works, right? Because as business owners, we want to make sure we keep customer retention, right? Why is it important? How can we, or in your experience, what are the stats looking like regards to retention when you do little things like this?
Well, I think customer retention is actually very important. A lot of times people want to talk about, buying ads, how they're marketing, how their lead funnel, right? Getting people in your funnel. But what happened after they're in your funnel, like in your bucket, actually? Are you spilling them out every day, or are you maintaining that relationship? Speaking about the last 3 years, right? If you're able to keep every single customer that you have ever had, then you come up pretty good. Because the fact that we're losing client, we are not keeping a client, that's how sometimes, struggle, and, sometimes it close your door because you're losing a client. It's always cheaper to keep a existing customer than to acquire a new client. So think about it this way. And a lot of time, people want to buy promotional product, right, to grow sales, to more leads. But I asked them, what have you done for your current client? What kind of gift? Have you thought about a gift for your current client? I get silence a lot, and maybe they will tell me, we don't really do that.
All right, Swire, now we are halfway through our recording episode, and I love to do a challenge. It's called Make Your Mark Challenge. Okay. And I do this with every single one of my clients. And so what we're doing here is I'm going to give you 30 seconds, right, to name some of the very well-known brands that we have come to know and love over the years, right? It might be products that we use at home, in the office, whatever it may be. And the more that you can name the brands, at the end of the season, which is 3 months, whoever has the most named brand in 30 seconds will actually win an item from me.
Wow. Okay, I'll try.
All right, and so I'm going to be timing you, and I just like to do this little fun thing, especially where we promote making people's mark. We want to make the mark in the world, and there's already so many brands that have made their mark in the world, right? And so I thought this would be a little fun quiz for all of our audience to kind of listen in here and keep up. So let's get the timer on. And so we are going to have 30 seconds. I'm going to get my pen and paper here ready. All right. Are you ready, Swire?
Yes, let's go for it.
All right. Okay. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Go for it.
Sorry, what would you want me to do? Like to yell out?
Just, yell out the names of the brands. You got 30 seconds to do that in. Just yell them out, and I'm going to be marking them as you say these brands. And then when it comes to the end of 30 seconds, I'm going to say stop, and I'm going to calculate how many you've actually said there. Yeah?
Okay, all right. I'm looking around right now. Okay, now I'm ready.
But no Googling. No Googling,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah.
All right. After 3, 1, 2, 3.
Canon, LG, Sony, Apple, Microsoft, Salesforce, Google, Facebook, Starbucks, Coffee Bean, BMW, Mercedes, Ferrari, Boeing, uh, Yeti, Patagonia, I'm blanking out.
All right, stop. Time has ended. You've done actually really well there. I know it's so funny, right? Because we know so many brands, but when you put it on the spot like that, it's like your mind just goes blank.
Yeah, I gotta know more like cars. I can name all the cars.
Right, all the different social media platforms, the products that we use at home, like there's so many things, but let's calculate how many you've got here. You've actually done very, very well. 16.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
16. That was really, really good. So that was that. I will let all of our guests know at the end of the season, right, who our top 3 are. And the number 1 will actually be receiving an item from me. So, but that will be at the end of the season. So keep a lookout for your emails because we will be sending it all there. But in the meantime, let's get back to the episode, right? And so
I
we'll
think, Kay,
talk.
you just gave a great example for like actually for a branded item. You don't have to give a lot, actually. What you're doing is perfect. So you keep
Thank you.
all your guests listen to your show to listen, oh, can they beat me? Now I'm going to listen next time. Can anyone get over that? You can actually buy, let's say you only have $500. You don't have much, for example, or whatever that your cost will be for your budget. Instead of buying, let's say you can buy 1,000 pens, right? But you can also buy one item that is $500. That's really nice. And what you're doing is great, is that you have a bunch of people participate. You have something that are in line to your goal to do, and you build up the expense for people. People are really anticipating who's going to win, and then you get one item, and then what will happen for the recipient, for the winner, right? He or she is going to be posting with that item, like we just talked about, on the social media because I wanted being on Kate's podcast. So you can actually use products branded with your logo to create. It could be a bike, it could be a really nice tumbler, or it could be something that relates to your company. And you can actually create sweepstakes, joining digital and promotional product together to create a campaign that generate a lot of call to action for your business.
Yeah, oh my good, you just made me
No,
expand
it's
even
your
more.
idea. It's your idea.
And you've just expanded it. You've helped me expand, right? This is awesome. I love it. I love it. And so I didn't even think about doing like a sweepstake, but that is totally doable, right? And that's a fantastic idea. Now I'm going to be like thinking about how we can get that going as well. But yeah, thank you so much. This is the thing. This is why I love podcasting, right? Because you meet so many different individuals all over the world, right? With different skills, different perspective, and just kind of even brainstorming on a podcast, right? Works really, really well. I absolutely love this. This is why I couldn't wait to get you onto the podcast, right? This is amazing. And so, regards to, having the swag and having these promotional products, not only does it help with retention for your clients and wanting them to come back, them being your raving fans, just like some of the products we use in the home, right? Where it's your detergent, you're always going to use that same detergent because you are loyal to it, you love it, right? You want to build those raving fans, and that's what you help others to do, which is absolutely fantastic. But you also mentioned to me behind the scenes, right, that it works with keeping your staff retention as well. So I
Mhm.
would love for you to tell us a little bit more about that and how that works.
Yeah, and I noticed for the past 2 years, companies that I work for are actually more generous. They realize that they are only as good as how they keep the best talent, because people have a lot of options there, especially when you talk to young generation. I see them on LinkedIn, they switch jobs like 5 times for the past 2 years. So these people have options, and they don't like the traditional way to work for a company for 30 years. So companies are actually trying really hard to maintain, to connect with their employees. And one of the best way to do is you want your employees and your colleagues to feel like they're working as a team. By working as a team, then we can usually think about some apparel item, something that we all wear. So when you wear a uniform, then you already feel like you're part of the team. So then the effort that you put out, and then I have to do this. It's not just me right now, it's part of the team. So that you can actually create more team building by providing item that all the colleagues or people work at the company can go along and to enjoy. So something that I'm seeing more companies are doing and implementing for the past few years.
Interesting. And so how does that work? Is it similar to, employee of the month, right? Like, how would you even measure, right, who or which employee would get this gift, right? Because really you want to reward them for the performance, right?
Well, there are a lot of ways to do that. For example, a lot of company now are remaining to have a remote workforce, maybe for the upcoming future. So these are the people you actually never would see at the office. You actually never get to have lunch with them. There are actually kits that company have us send out to all the employees. So when they do their team huddle, when they do the Zoom meeting, they will actually have a gift box with different items in there. So yes, you are not able to have lunch together, but then you can open this item. You could talk about this item. Some of them actually brings cocktail mixes. So for the after hour party mingle, you can actually open a case of beverages, and then you can actually drink virtually. So not the best, but this will also create the experience that you're supposed to have in person. Or you could actually send employees game and have them actually join together at a time to play together. So that's another way to team building. And a nice jacket in a cold weather is always nice, to warm the employee's heart. So a lot of apparel item really to make them feel like they're wearing employees gear. And going back to the musician example, if I'm wearing my company's jacket to go out there, and people ask, that's a nice jacket, who gave it to you? Then the employees will actually talk good about you. And in the days that a lot of younger generation have choices, they actually do care which company sent out the best employees gift.
So people do actually care about those things, is what you're saying.
If you Google, if you on LinkedIn, you search for employees appreciation, people actually will post what their new hire company sent them. You can actually, that's good marketing for HR department, because these are people whom you're hiring and then talking good things about you. So maybe at their previous company, there are other people who are thinking about moving along and then on the edge. But by doing that post, by the actual hire doing that post, is actually helping the HR department to push out their message out there.
I see. See, you're very resourceful, Swire. This is what I'm getting from you. You're absolutely resourceful, because you're like, well, you don't need to be spending money on Google ads or LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads, right? You've got clients there, they're happy. Be smart, right? Get them to do the marketing for you, whether it's your clients or your team members, right? Because they are walking, talking billboards. And so I love that, because it doesn't have to cost hundreds or thousands of dollars to be able to do this. And then referrals and people speaking about your brand and your business and what you do and how you've helped people and how you look after your team goes a long way when it comes to people's mindsets.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not trying to pick a fight with digital marketing experts out there. I think it could coexist. If you think that digital marketing works for you, that's great. Promotional product also has a space. And if you are smart and, if I'm able to uncover the right answer from a company, we can actually combine it. Like the online sweepstakes that I talked about. Maybe you want to grow your Instagram follower, for example. So then you post the the gift at the sweepstake on Instagram, and then you combine your Instagram ads along with the $500 gift, so you can actually make them work together to your advantage.
Definitely. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love this. Now, so I want to kind of find out a little bit more, and for our audience as well, you use podcasting, guest podcasting as a way to market and promote your business, yourself, what you do, how you can help others. Why have you used this particular marketing when it comes to podcasting as one of your marketing methods?
Thank you. The name of my podcast is called The Small Business Show. I actually start doing that at the beginning of pandemic. So people are kind of forced to talk to me because they know other people to talk to. So, but I think the biggest takeaway from doing the show is, besides from learning from all the great guests that come onto the show, is the way that I ask my questions. Because you only get good answer by having good questions.
That's
And
right.
I have to be on the show however long that it goes and ask engaging question. Because, for example, if you come on to the podcast, I ask you, have you had breakfast? Then you answer yes or no. Like that's as simple as that. But if I actually wanted to know about your routine or to become successful, I'll ask, please describe a little bit more about your morning routine upon waking up. What would you do in the first 30 minutes of your day? Then I can uncover all the things that you do to maybe to get an edge for being successful as you are. So I think learning to ask the right question is the biggest takeaway for having my own podcast.
Well, that's awesome. So you've got to be a great host, right? And you've got to be asking the right questions the right way in order to extract the information that our listeners need. So why did you decide to start your own podcast? Because I find that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I should start my own podcast. It's a lot of work, it takes a lot of time. So why did you decide to start your own podcast?
I think it was great for networking because I'm a big networker. So I like to go to Chamber of Commerce, before the pandemic for in person. During the pandemic, that's something that I physically cannot do. So I'm actually grateful to be able to have the technology like Zoom. Zoom is great. We're in different continents, and now, Zoom and the podcast and connected us together. I'm able to meet and network with people that are smarter than I do, doing in their industry, and then they are actually teaching me a lot of stuff. So I think the learning part is great, the networking part is great, and I got lucky a couple of times and actually got clients who were guests on my show.
Fantastic. So it does work. You're educating people, you're giving value, you're networking and meeting people from all over the world, right? From the comfort of your own home, right? So it's inexpensive and you're getting clients too. Absolutely love it. This is why I encourage all business owners, entrepreneurs to start their own podcast, right? And it doesn't need to be difficult. It doesn't need to be time consuming, especially where we can come in and help you do it all, right? So thank you so much, Swire, for all of that. But with regards to branding and promotional products, was there anything else you wanted our listeners to know?
I think the most important thing to remember is, other people might be using promotional product. I would even go this to say on the record, you don't need promotional product if you're not ready. You need your website, you need your business formation, but then you don't have to get promotional product. But by asking yourself and identify your ideal client and then going through some of the questions that I might be asking you, then promotional product is a good tool to enhance either you want to grow sales or you want to retain your current employees. This will be, think about promotional product is another tool that you can use to enhance and achieve your goals.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, I know so at this point, people are probably listening and thinking, oh my goodness, I need to speak to Swire. How do I connect with him? So I would love for you to tell our audience where they can go to find you so they can actually speak with you and learn a little bit more about this.
Thank you. I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you just put in LinkedIn, Swire Ho, my name, love to network, love to connect with everyone. If you want to talk business and see our website, it's garudapromo.com. Happy to connect and, be ready for the question that I'll be asking you.
Fantastic. Awesome. Guys, go ahead and connect with Swire. Find out what else he's doing, how he can help you, what kind of promotional products you should be sending your clients and your team, what works for you and your business. And this could basically skyrocket your business and bring in more clients and have them do your marketing for you. This is amazing. I absolutely loved talking with you, Swire. Thank you so much for coming onto the show. And to be honest with you, you and I are going to be speaking a little bit more about how this all works, because this is really intriguing for me. But thank you so much for coming onto the show, Swire. This was amazing.
Thank you, Kate.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.